Picture this. You've just had a long, exhausting day at work, and the only thing that you can think about is getting home, turning on the sim, and throwing down some laps of the Nordschleife. Upon walking through the front door and slumping on the sofa, however, the energy required to jump into the sim rig and set it all up is too much to even consider. How do you get this racing fix that doesn't require lots of energy to be expended? Mobile racing games, of course. There are a lot of titles to consider when you're presented with the available options on the App Store, so we've put together a list of 12 games that you should check out. All of our choices are free to play and available on both iOS and Android operating systems, and there is no doubt there are many other titles that you may know about that should be considered for this video. Let us know down in the comments below about what you're currently playing and if you like any of our recommendations. Starting off with a game that seems to take inspiration from a well-known franchise. Asaluto Racing is the closest experience you can get to Gran Turismo on your phone. Not only does it have a wide variety of cars to drive and tracks to race on, but it also contains a driving school with disciplines similar to license tests on Sony's titles. The handling characteristics are surprisingly decent, as you're able to use assists like ABS, traction control, or steering assists, as well as choosing a different control scheme for your preference, such as tilt controls, wheel controls, or button presses. Alongside the usual racing and rally series, you also have a drift series to participate in, which contains a score target rather than a timed lap target. Even if the available circuits aren't laser scanned, they are surprisingly detailed and accurate for its platform. At the time of making this video, Asaluto is also the only mobile game that features the entirety of the Nürburgring Nordschleife to race on, so this may well be an added bonus for all of you Nürburgring addicts. Pixel Car Racer is one for all of you drag racing enthusiasts. Set in the luscious backdrop of Japan, the tasks ahead are simple to grasp but hard to master, as being fast requires some knowledge of transmission tuning. Buy a brand new car, earn money through drag races at Tsukuba, and buy upgrades to smash the world records. Many parts of the car are customizable, down to the engine pistons themselves, body kits, turbochargers, nitrous, and even the most important part of any drag racing car out there, brakes. Oh, okay, maybe not the last one. After placing some expensive parts in your car, the acceleration improves, the sounds are accurate as well, and your reaction times need to be quick to beat your opponents. The transmission will also need adjusting to crunch those seconds down, so if you're experienced with these fiddly numbers, you'll already be way ahead of the pack. Once you're happy with the speed of your car, you can take part in 3 different tournaments that differ in their required classes and prize money. Win the finals, make bank, splash it out in your car, and so on. A nice game to pick up and play for a few minutes, without needing a lot of your time to progress through. Top Trumps meets Time Trial Racing. That's the description of this game in 6 words. Top Drives contains a gigantic car list that puts every other racing game to shame, with over 2,000 licensed vehicles to choose from and collect. The aim of this game is simple. You're given a bunch of races that contain varying disciplines, and it's your job to choose which car should be selected for each one from your hand. Every car you have is represented by a card and contains different statistics such as top speed, a handling score, tyres, weight, drivetrain, and much more. These races are hugely varied in their discipline, as they may require lapping a kart circuit, climbing a hill, reaching 100 miles an hour, navigating through tight mountain hairpins, and each one contains varying track and weather conditions such as rain, snow, asphalt or sand. This game doesn't require a knowledge of racing, but knowing which car to choose for the right track is key here. After choosing a lineup of cars for the races ahead, you can either manually pick which car should race where, or you can rely on the game's recommended system that highlights the perfect match on the car for the current race. Once your choices have been made, the races take place and the fastest car on each race is allocated points. Beat the opponent by a couple of seconds and you're rewarded with 50 points, but beat them by miles and you're rewarded with even more. After each race is finished, the scores are tallied up and the winner is declared, with prizes handed out ranging from currency that can open car packs to cars themselves. It's remarkably simple to play and doesn't require a lot of car knowledge to get started. The Motorsport Manager series is approaching its 10-year anniversary, and we highly recommend giving the second title a go. You take the role as team principal and control every aspect of the team and car. Unlike Frontier Development's version with F1 Manager that focuses solely on the Formula 1 Championship, you start out in the European Racing Series in Tier 3, progress into Tier 2 with the Asia Pacific Super Cup, and eventually into Tier 1 with the World Motorsport Championship. In between races, all aspects of the team are under your management, allowing you to choose where development budget goes, firing and hiring engineers or drivers, allocating sponsors, building new car parts, and much, much more. When it comes to the race weekend, however, there is little you can do to influence what's on track. but you play a supportive role in directing your drivers on setups, pit stops and strategy. You can instruct your drivers to push aggressively by using more fuel and tyres, or play the long game by conserving fuel and tyres. The tracks are also accurate with the setup assessments, as a circuit containing multiple straights suit a car with a low cornering speed and a top speed focus gear ratio, and the opposite is true when it comes to the circuits with more turns than an episode of The Good Place. A great substitute on your phone if you're waiting for the next iteration in the F1 Manager series. Horizon Chase was released to mobile platforms in 2015, and later came to PC and consoles 4 years later as an enhanced version. The old retro arcade game influence behind the title is clear, as the incredibly basic mechanics, colourful graphics and nostalgic soundtrack come together to deliver a wonderful experience. The aim is simple: come first in the race and collect blue tokens, all while starting from the back of the pack. Trying to overtake the opposition is not an easy job, however, as any collisions with any vehicle or scenery can lead to many positions lost, especially when you rear-end an opponent and lose all of your speed. Time your boost well, keep on top of your fuel and pass safely. That's all the advice you need for reaching the podium. Make sure to also check out our review of the Senna Forever DLC in this title, as it's a great tribute to the late legend. And if you love this game and have an Apple Arcade subscription, why not try Horizon Chase 2? There is an exceptionally low chance that you haven't heard about Mario Kart throughout your life, and the mobile iteration matches the quality of the rest of the series. Mario Kart Tour features everything from the previous outings, but contains an array of new tracks, a different control style, and, disappointingly, a microtransaction system. Regardless, you can still happily play without needing to pay a single penny, as the available items in the shop are characters, vehicles, and cosmetics, all of which are available to be earned through playing the game. When it comes to gameplay itself, everything is similar aside from the controls. Your kart automatically accelerates, while you control the steering wheel through either the gyro or button presses. The controls themselves are quite fiddly to begin with, and it does need some time to get used to, but this is aided by an arrow in front of your vehicle. There are cups to complete, daily challenges to join in with, and multiplayer races to jump into and play. Good fun to be had on this, as it literally is Mario Kart in your pocket. Datawing offers an incredibly challenging experience throughout its retro-futuristic computerized landscape. The story mode is simple. You guide a triangle-shaped spaceship through a minimalist layout by using left and right as the controls while trying to complete the track in a set amount of time. It's very tricky to control the ship as it glides within each circuit, but the way forward is by drifting close to the walls, as they act as a propeller for your ship. This method requires some time to master, but the speed you gain from these risky maneuvers becomes incredibly satisfying. Completing each level unlocks dialogue by an AI character known as Mother, as they slowly unravel the storyline around the world of Datawing. Once you get past the fiddly controls and master the technique, the experience provides a great atmosphere throughout its neon-based graphics and vaporwave soundtrack. There's not really much more to say about this game, other than give it a try, as the story mode only has around 2 hours of gameplay. It's well worth your time. Tofu Drifter does what it says in the tin. Deliver tofu and drift. You could argue this title isn't really a racing game, considering there are no time limits or opponents to race, but a simple to control drifting game is always welcome. You operate a tofu production facility with the ability for upgrades, and it's your job to deliver these packages to customers that are in the middle of nowhere along extensive winding roads. Drift along said roads to earn money and points, prevent your car from crashing to not damage the food, and yeet these packages to the hungry customers upon arrival. The aim here is to gain high scores by delivering packages, collecting coins or stars, and earning long chains of drifts. Use the score to improve your facility, either by upgrading its production speed, storage area, garage capabilities, or job opportunities. There are a multitude of cars to unlock that each contain a different array of statistics, and also a variety of road types to travel down that include country roads, snowy roads, or dangerous roads, and eventually traffic to deal with. It's a fun little pick up and play game with a lot of charm. Real Racing 3 contains a massive array of licensed cars and licensed tracks to race on. You can race in huge series and disciplines such as Formula 1, Formula E, GT4, touring cars, IMSA, WEC, and more, while driving on well-known tracks such as Spa, Bathurst, Daytona, Le Mans, and so on. There's just way too much to list here. Each series contains different disciplines to compete in, where trophies can be earned to unlock further races to race in, and money that can be used to unlock more cars. While the lineup it boasts is impressive, the racing itself, however, arguably doesn't match the title's quality. There are a lot of options to choose from for your preferred control methods, such as gyro steering, buttons, or a wheel, that all contain a varying steering sensitivity, and the assists contain braking, steering, and traction control. The cars themselves are tricky to control precisely, as it seems to force the car into a drift if your steering is too tight, and the braking assists do more harm than good. Regardless, the number of things to do in this title is monumental, and the developers deserve bonus points for creating a platform that contains multiplayer racing on real tracks in real cars on your phone. As for all of you rally enthusiasts out there, CarX Rally provides the perfect scratch to that itch. The variety of cars are what you'd expect from a regular rally game, consisting of low-powered front-wheel drive to start out your career, to rear-wheel drive beasts and eventually modern-day all-wheel drive machines, all of which can be upgraded and tweaked to your liking. There are licenses to earn, championships, challenges and special stages to race upon, and the locations themselves are well made, with scenery decorating the surrounding landscape. Handling of the cars also feels quite realistic, as a rear-wheel drive car feels harder to control than one with front-wheel drive, and small bumps when going off track can send your car into a barrel roll. After resetting onto the track, your car does show damage and may end up in a loss of performance, or even a lack of light when racing within a dark environment if you bust up the front end. Servicing the car can be taken at any point outside of a race, but this comes with the annoying cost of a time limit. The biggest negative about the game is its co-driver, as the calls are confusing when compared to other rally titles. Corners that can be called as flat lefts or rights are called as 7s, 8s and 9s. Junctions are named as crossings, represented by an X symbol. Square corners don't exist, and the call timings can be irregular. Still though, the negatives do not retract from the realistic rally experience that this game has to offer. The first hill climb racing game has been around for over 10 years now, but it's the sequel that has made the biggest impact in the series. The races are simple. Take a vehicle of your choice and compete throughout a multitude of environments against opponents. Win races and you earn coins, which can be spent on upgrades or unlocking more vehicles. There isn't one car that does every track well, however, so having a few upgraded cars in your arsenal that have advantages on each different track is key here. The different vehicles to choose from are vastly different from each other. The Formula car comes with the fastest speed, but has a long wheelbase and small tyres, alongside an incredibly expensive price tag, whereas the Super Diesel is the perfect cheap option for tracks that require tons of manoeuvrability, but falls behind when it comes to those environments that require speed. If we had to pick one car as an all-rounder, however, we would go with the Rotator, as it's able to drive upside down and protects the avatar from death by colliding with the scenery. But if you would rather drive alone, there is the Adventure mode, which is all about survival. The aim is to keep your car going for as long as possible while picking up fuel cans along the way, as the track gets progressively windier and harder to navigate through. A great pick up and play game for those with limited time. The last stop on this list is with Jet Car Stunts 2, as it can be classed as Trackmania on your phone. With a multitude of various levels to tackle and cars to drive, this arcade time trial racer is one for those that are looking for a challenge. Its tight tracks and fast-natured control method is incredibly difficult to start getting used to, but it becomes rewarding after a certain amount of time spent in the game. Progression is unlocked the further you get through this one, starting out with easy levels and eventually onto the hard section. The controls on offer are gyro-based, which is unfortunate news for those phones that lack the feature. The cars have phenomenal cornering speed and require small adjustments to make sure you maintain traction. Tilting your phone left or right steers the car, and tilting your phone up and down can adjust the pitch of the car. Combine this pitch control with the afterburner thrust, and you're able to fly right across the map and through obstacles while in the air. A very tricky experience to get right, but incredibly fun once a few hours are spent getting used to its controls. So there we have it, 12 free racing video games available to play on your mobile phone. Please let us know down in the comments section below if there are any others you would have liked to see in this video, or if there are any games that we've recommended that now have a place on your phone. Maybe we'll do another video on this topic in future, who knows. Subscribe to the Traction channel for more videos like this in future, and hit the notification bell to catch those videos as they are released. Until next time, thank you for watching, keep it pinned, and have a great day.